I have a standing rule here at the USCCA. Whenever there is a naked person firing a gun, we're going to talk about it with an attorney. In this video, and we'll break this down with noted criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve, former state prosecutor as well, about a man defending his property with an AR-15 rifle. Nothing crazy about that, except that he's naked when he did it. So that, of course, is going to make news. But first, a quick reminder, we have a gun giveaway going on right now. You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. Just click the link in the description below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. All right, Tom, let's watch this video, and I'm just going to keep it to a few seconds because, you know, there is some nudity. It's blocked out. So here we see the homeowner run outside with his AR-15, pointing it at the folks who are trying to steal his vehicle. Apparently he's had multiple break-ins and attempted thievery at his property. And then, of course, he fires a shot accidentally, or there is an accidental discharge with his firearm. And now he's facing some pretty serious trouble from the state of New Jersey.
Right.
And
imagine that.
Yeah, New Jersey, the one place we always talk about, you know, looking at you, New Jersey, it's out there. You know, we've said this before time and time again. It's self-defense. It's not stuff defense. And if you're going to run outside naked somewhere, especially if there's 56 video cameras on your property, somebody's going to get hold of that. And this is going to be a topic of conversation among the law enforcement community and the prosecutors. So
yeah, the video will travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us your insight on this. I'm going to say, you know, put the car in the garage. I mean, if it's happening that often, 18 times, but certainly he's frustrated. He runs outside with a rifle. Trigger finger discipline. You know, let's not fire the rifle unless we intend to. So he says accidental discharge. I say negligent discharge. Tomato for some people, but not for me. It's very important. What do you think about this and what's happening with it?
Well, first off, good on him for living in the house. Good on him for being successful enough to have the Mercedes G-Wagon and what appears to be, not in this picture, but in a subsequent portion of the video, some sort of Lamborghini or something like that, as the garage car, or pardon, as the driveway cars, right? So I guess you're doing something right.
I'm not going to rich shame him or wealth shame him or anything like that.
There's got to be a name for that these days.
But his actions probably put him in the crosshairs of the police and prosecutor.
You're right. I mean, so you and I have talked about many times that when we're talking about using deadly force, this side of one particular state, which will also not be mentioned, we're talking about people defense, not stuff defense. Mm-hmm. The problem is, what do we classify as deadly force? You check your local listings because all these laws are going to vary. Yeah. But from one prosecutor, employing deadly force might be pointing a loaded gun at someone. Yeah. For the next one, it might be discharging a gun in a direction. You just don't quite know, and everything is always driven by context, right? If a police officer points a firearm at you, that does not mean that you can shoot the police officer because that's deadly force. If a robber who's robbing a store and just shot 3 people points a gun at you, that's probably now you're facing a deadly threat. You can use deadly force. So it's difficult when we try to call kind of balls and strikes as to this is deadly force, this isn't, because the reason why, and I always tell this to folks who you know, they're engineers, they're big into the STEM field. Law is an exercise in humanities, not the sciences. Mm-hmm. But there's good reason for that, because we need to have elastic enough definitions and principles that we're operating off of and referring back to, that it can encompass as many different fact patterns that speak to those principles as possible. Put it more in English, we need something vague so that it doesn't eliminate a bunch of things that we want it to cover.
Yeah, there's nuance in everything.
There's nuance in everything, and so you need to have it. You need to have it out there. But right, using a rifle, using a pistol, using a shotgun to defend stuff, it's asking for trouble, and I think that's where the analysis has to start.
And I want to point out that I went without comment when you referenced balls and strikes with the with the naked guy running out on his front porch. But we need to point out that, you know, you're using deadly force and you're taking a firearm out there to address something that is not an imminent deadly threat.
Right.
That's what I see when I watch this video.
Right.
More importantly than the smiley face over the guy's butt,
Right.
is that he is addressing something that is not an imminent deadly threat with potentially deadly force, and then certainly once he fires the gun. I mean, that's our definition here is the use of a firearm or other instrument, the intentional use of a firearm or other instrument. That's what rises to deadly force. He's got the gun, and then he fired it.
And I suppose the argument from him, putting on my defense attorney hat, would be he was going to confront the people, which generally speaking, you do have a right to confront people who are interfering with your property. I'm not saying that that is always the most legally advisable, the safest route, but given the fact it sounds like he's been burglarized 18 times, I think we can all understand that. But just the same, if you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas, right? Yeah. If you're going to put yourself into a chaotic, dynamic situation, it's foreseeable that bad things can arise from that, right? So putting on my defense attorney hat, he goes out there to stop the people from stealing his cars, and he doesn't know if they're armed. He doesn't know if they're going to rush him. There's probably multiple guys. So, okay. That's where we go to the now pointing it at them, and you get into this gray area analysis. And I don't know enough about New Jersey law to say, I'll set you up again, ball or strike. But it's very difficult, and if you're not prepared to pay the consequences for it, you shouldn't play the game.
Yeah, and this falls firmly into the it depends category that you bring out. Some places, the open carry of a rifle is perfectly fine. It's perfectly legal. Probably not in New Jersey, but I'm looking at this as he's been robbed 18 times. He lives in a state that doesn't want him to protect himself. I mean, it's... the folks from New Jersey might argue with me, the officials from New Jersey, but clearly the way they have their laws set up, they don't want people taking the law into their own hands. This might just be another reason for him to move outside of New Jersey. I mean, it's, but certainly I don't want to be chasing down the street, chasing down the driveway even, unclothed carrying a rifle, chasing someone because they're trying to steal my car.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guy who has insurance. And, I'd rather be filing a claim on my insurance company than talking to my criminal defense attorney.
Yep, and that's a great way to close it. So rather file that claim with your insurance company. So thank you very much for your insight, Tom. Truly appreciate it. Folks, and thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I will remind you again, we have that gun giveaway going on. It's happening right now, but it ends really soon. And all you have to do is click the link below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. If you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell. We'll notify you every time something new comes out. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next video.